In today's video, we're going to be deep diving into some interesting comments made by timeless Toni Storm herself regarding Mercedes Mone. Two very, very divisive wrestlers. Two wrestlers that get people talking, right? Both good and bad. And if you look at the importance of Toni Storm and you look at the importance of Mercedes Mone, that is a reason why they are the true anchors of AEW's women's division. Timeless Toni Storm, obviously our women's champion, and Mercedes Mone, our TBS champion. And we have a real possibility of these stars sharing the squared circle, not only just in the distant future, but really on an important stage, right? Mercedes Mone is slated to work Jamie Hayter in the finals of the Owen Hart Cup tournament at Double or Nothing. The winner of that match is going to be able to go on and challenge Timeless Toni Storm for the women's championship at All in Texas in this summer, right? It's going to be a massive match. It is the biggest match that AEW can do in the women's division, in my opinion. You have Mercedes Mone, who is your biggest heel female star, and you have Timeless Toni Storm as your biggest babyface star in the women's division. That is a recipe for amazement. That is a recipe for success. That is something in which you have to take notice of, and that is something in which you have to capitalize on. And if you're AEW and Tony Khan, you know that this is going to be a match that you could draw some serious eyeballs on and some money, because it is a dream match. Now, you have to keep in mind that it is all in Texas. This is a situation in which they need as much exposure as possible. They have to absolutely stack this card and build some interest. And yes, they've sold about 10,000 tickets. You got to get more in it. You're talking about filling up an MLB baseball stadium to do so. Okay. Now, Timeless Toni Storm did a very interesting interview with Malcolm. Okay. And she was asked, when speaking with Muscle Man Malcolm, that she was talking about the comparisons between her and Mercedes Mone. And she claims, obviously, I'm a better champion than Mercedes, but any kind of champion. Number one, that can't be a question. Okay. You have to keep in mind that is the mentality that you should have. That she is better than Mercedes Mone. That she is better than any champion in AEW. She's better champion than anyone in the pro wrestling industry. That's what she's talking about. That's what she's bringing. That's what she understands. That is what she sees as the truth. And honestly, I agree with her. If you look at what she's been able to do over the last 2 years, the transformation, it's phenomenal, right? Timeless Toni Storm has done amazing things. From her awesome heel run, being able to come up with a character, deep dive into that character, and change your career trajectory is remarkable, right? And then you look at, okay, she goes and she's paired with Mariah May, and they do that storyline, and that's a great storyline, and it gets Mariah May over as a mega star, okay? One of your best heels in AEW. She is the best heel in AEW's women's division when she's on TV, but she is sidelined. Once she made it clear, hey, I'm going to WWE, if they give me a contract offer when my AEW deal is up, then that was the writing on the wall. So Mercedes Mone is, by default, in my opinion, their best heel female star. But Timeless Toni Storm made Mariah May. She made her into the star that she is, and given the opportunity with WWE because of it. Okay. Now she's in this babyface run, and she is over like Rover. She is so over right now that she could easily headline Dynamites, even a pay-per-view with the right gimmick, right? Mercedes Mone versus Timeless Toni Storm. That's in my opinion, that's a pay-per-view headliner. It's a pay-per-view main event, whether you like it or you don't. I just think it is. You look at Mercedes Mone, somewhat similar to Timeless Toni Storm, right? Being able to see ahead, being able to feel where the crowd is at, knowing that, okay, this works, that works, this works, that works, kind of thing. You also have to look at a situation in which she saw, okay, this is not clicking for everybody. Let me change things up. Let me go from a babyface to a heel. Let me really deep dive into the CEO character, right? That's what she was able to do. And being able to feel the crowd, being able to see around the corner, that's what both women have involved with each other, or in common with each other. That is what makes them who they are, and it makes them stand out as to who they are, right? That's brilliance on their part. It really, really is. So let's talk about the comparison. Let's talk about the statement made by Timeless Toni Storm. Is she a better champion than Mercedes Mone? Yes, she is. She's more over than Mercedes Mone. She has better promos than Mercedes Mone. Mone has better matches, okay? Mone can put on a great match with anyone. And I think her body of work, whether that be in WWE or AEW, WWE, New Japan, Rev Pro, you name it, anywhere she works, she's backed up that theory. She really, really has. Toni Storm, I think she was too focused on her character work early on in her career, and then she had to shift it. And once she shifted it, then it's like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Because I think she was too focused on her character work while wrestling compared to, hey, how can I do X, Y, and Z and do the character instead of just doing the character and then I got to figure out X, Y, and Z. Because I think if you put too much character work into your matches, then your movesets come off as bland, right? But if you can just kind of look at a character work and look at it as like salt and pepper, right, on food instead of being the food, I think it's what makes a match, because you need that base core of like, okay, this is why we're doing this is why we're doing this, instead of like, oh my gosh, I'm Timeless Toni Storm, I'm this outrageous type character, right? And I think that Mercedes, she can get there, and I think she can cut a promo if given the right, material and the right opponent and the right storyline. But the problem is, like, Toni Storm, you pay to see Toni Storm talk, you pay to see Mercedes Mone wrestle. And when we're talking about drawability and we're talking about bigger than life personas and characters and what really makes the pro wrestling industry, work, it's not matches. It's promos, it's characters, it's development, it's connection, if you will. So I think that's where Mercedes Mone falls a little bit to Timeless Toni Storm. But when they do meet, it's going to be very, very